there, and welcome to a fresh episode of the program Last Week in Nigeria. My name is Emmanuel Uriowo. This is your one-stop shop program where we get to bring you the stories that were reported by national dailies the previous week in Nigeria. Last Week in Nigeria is the show. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media handles using @Last Week in Nigeria on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, and don't forget that you can log on to our website www.lastweekinnigeria.com. Our WhatsApp channel also goes through the same handle @Last Week in Nigeria. For our YouTube channel, why not comment, share, subscribe, turn on the notification button for our subsequent episodes. Last Week in Nigeria is a show. Let's begin this way. Still basking in the euphoria of the silver jubilee of our unbroken democracy, talking about 25 years anniversary celebrated on the 12th of June this year by the administration of President Bola TINUBU, who also is a year already in the saddle as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So it comes with a mixed feeling. We're celebrating 1 year in office, celebrating another year, especially the fact that it's 25 years of unbroken democracy in the Fourth Republic in Nigeria. Away from that euphoria is still there. But I want to use this opportunity to say, Barkat Salah to all our Muslim brothers and sisters. It is the occasion of Eid al-Kabir. For those who went to Hajj and those who are at home, those who are everywhere watching us, from Last Week in Nigeria crew, we wish you Eid Mubarak. So let's begin the show this way as we report the stories that were brought to you last week in Nigeria by the national dailies. On the note of the Salah celebration, it was reported last week in Nigeria by the Sunday Tribune, and it says, 1 week to Salah, high prices of rams, foodstuffs may lead to low celebration. Rams go for 1 million naira in Kaduna, 750,000 naira in Ilorin, and 300,000 naira in Ibadan. That's alarming. So let's see. Already the Salah is here, we're celebrating, but how many homes will be able to afford the rams? Okay, bringing you more stories as reported last week by our national dailies in Nigeria. We had this one from the Guardian newspaper, and it says, Labour fires back at state governors. Of course, state governors said they can't do the new minimum wage that the Nigerian Labour Congress and the TUC are proposing. Well, we also heard the speech by Mr. President, of which the Labour Union and the TUC said, hey, we're not in agreement with what you said in that speech. All of that happened last week in Nigeria, and they were reported widely by national newspapers. We also had this one, political stories. August NEC meeting, opposition mounts over PDP NWC's merger stance. Labour to resume strike any moment from now. That's interesting. We keep going back and forth. It's disturbing for me. I don't know about you. Don't forget, you can drop your comment at the comment section. Let's talk about this and keep the conversation going as we discuss about things that happened last week in Nigeria as the way they were reported by national dailies. Civil servants to governors, cut your salaries to pay us. That's the way the Daily Trust captioned it last week in Nigeria. Now imagine when governors, ministers, senators, rep members start earning the approved minimum wage. Maybe we'll have a new narrative by then. We look forward to that interesting moment. It's going to be so interesting because I want to see those that will be remaining in that office, because it won't be that juicy again for them to stay there. Of course, we understand that the cost of our governance in this part of the world is alarming. And this one says, Abiola's son speaks on theory that killed to balance Abacha's death. A lot of revelation coming on board. And this happens to be an annual ritual. We keep hearing new things about what went down concerning the June 12 election in 1993. And you keep wondering, when will they exhaust all of these stories? But as to tell you, there are a lot of intriguing things happening in this country. Some have been swept under the carpet. Some are just in the mind of some people. Some people are waiting for the right time to speak up. Also last week in Nigeria, we had the story, senior lawyers differ on uniform national minimum wage, says Nigeria running a federation. Interesting. And we heard that the judiciary will be having about 300% increase for their own salaries. And yet, it's a federation. Can't we have a uniform salary scale for all and sundry? Come to think of it, what is even the percentage of the civil servants who are going to be earning the salary? What about the artisans, those who are in business, those who are doing private businesses? They are not going to be captured in the minimum wage. Instead, they'll be feeling the effect, the side effect, or the multiple effect, as the case might be. Business Day has this one: stock defy rate hike to gain 15.25 trillion naira in 5 months. And this one says, no cause for alarm over Nigeria's debt profile. Who are those speaking? Experts, as reported by the Daily Times newspaper. Experts see danger around minimum wage battle. That's the way the Vanguard newspaper captioned it last week in Nigeria. And still talking about the minimum wage, Bagudu, 62,000 naira recommended wage in national interest based on economic realities. That's the way the This Day newspaper puts it. And this one, anti-open grazing bill, Mayeti Allah, Pandef, Ohaneze in fresh row. That's from the Nigerian Tribune. Fuel, foods lead us, import hits 12 trillion naira. That was a bold one on the front page of the Punch newspaper, as reported last week in Nigeria. The blueprint is next. Refuse to join us, get killed. Terrorist gang threatens Niger youth. This is not good enough. Don't forget, you have the opportunity to place your advertisements on this program. I'll be back with you shortly after this break. It's still Last Week in Nigeria, and what we do on this program is to bring you stories that were reported by national dailies straight to your doorstep in one breath via just one click. So click onto our YouTube channel to subscribe, share, comment, and turn on the notification bell. Don't forget, you can also use Last Week in Nigeria to follow us on all our social media handles to get all that we dish out every week on this show. TINUBU's political goodwill comment. Atiku fires back at Shatima. That's the way the Matrix newspaper puts it, and that was reported last week in Nigeria. And this one got the attention of so many Nigerians. Tongues started wagging, celebrating 1 year in office, celebrating 25 years of unbroken democracy. Part of the project that came to the limelight was the opening of the 21 billion naira Vice President Shatima's building, the house where the Vice President will now be staying. There are a lot of issues. The official mansion was being unveiled at the cost of 21 billion naira. Of course, we were told that the building has been on for a while before the present administration came on board. But you want to ask yourself, where was the former Vice President staying? Serap is already speaking up. Serap is saying such building amounts to wasteful spending. But trust, it's Nigeria. So many things went down with the Democracy Day celebration, as we saw that clip that went viral about our president, tripping up with the Agbada thing at the Eagle Square. Also on that same day, we saw that at the parade ground, one of the bikes that was supposed to parade with the parade vehicle of Mr. President perhaps ran out of fuel, and the guy was struggling to move this bike. So interesting view about our celebration. Now let's take a trip to Imo State, same day while the governor of the state was giving his democracy speech. Guess what? Power struck. And the power was seized, rather. And when they seized the power, he had to complete a speech using a torchlight. A lot of things happened on that Democracy Day. But well, it's Nigeria. And just like you heard from the governor, he said, this is Nigeria. Well, interesting moment. That's just an enlightening. When we continue with other stories that made the headlines and reported last week in Nigeria. Nigeria's staple food prices surge by 141% in 1 year. Nigerians are seriously grappling with this particular situation because people buy gari for as much as 1,700 naira per Congo. Rice is now cheaper than beans. Beans goes for 3,000 naira per Congo. Rice 2,527. Interesting moments, if you ask me. But Nigerians are worried. 10th National Assembly. The Vanguard newspaper puts this to us. 24 senators have no bill in 1 year. In other words, they've been going to the Senate for the past 1 year as senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria representing their constituencies without a bill in 365 days. It's high time the constituents will start asking questions from their representatives that, hey, what are you doing there? Are you there in our own interest? or in your pocket interest. We have this one, Constitution Amendment. Reps propose 6-year single tenure for president, governors. That is coming up again to the fore. It's going to be subjected to discuss. But here we are. We're talking about 6-year single term for president and governor. And we are also considering the regional arrangement. Which one do we settle for? Time will tell. Business Day has this one. Hospitals trim dollar costs to scale inflation hurdle. Food insecurity. Nigerians battle economic hardship over hike in prices of rams, foodstuff as inflation bites harder. I'm beginning to wonder, I hope my friends will be able to kill ram this year as we celebrate the Eid al-Kabir festival. Because I love the taste of that ram each time I eat it. It's symbolic, you know? But look at the prices of the ram are up there. I hope people will be able to afford it. But well, it's still celebrating Eid al-Kabir. Barkada Salah to all our Muslim faithfuls across the globe. We wish you Eid Mubarak. Full honors for heroes of struggle on Democracy Day. Of course, we saw a clip by Senator Sani Shehu where he addressed a gathering having the President of the Federal Republic in attendance, and he spoke to the President from the bottom of his heart saying that, look, we struggled for this. We didn't win it on the platform of a lottery. We didn't get it given to us on a platter of gold. We fought for it. And if we are the product of the struggle, now that we are in the saddle, we should do something about it. And I want to believe that particular statement must have touched the heart of Mr. President to know that he has no excuse. He has no reason to fail Nigerians. Let's see how things will unfold in days to come. Democracy Day, Peter Obi, Atiku differ on TINUBU's Eagle Square slip. That was a trip on his agbada. And he already came out to say he had a swag that day. He did his own dobale for Nigerian democracy. What a way to have a damage control coming from the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on that particular incident that happened at the Eagle Square on the occasion of Democracy Day. Okay, we have this one. Minimum wage. FG warns of mass sacking as Labour disowns agreement. That's the way the Punch newspaper reported that particular story. And this one from the Daily Trust newspaper, only 5.3 million workers will benefit from new minimum wage. Remember I said it at the beginning of this program, that what is the percentage of Nigerians who are workers that will benefit from the new minimum wage or the living wage, as the case may be. This was reported by the Nigerian News Direct last week in Nigeria. On June 12th, protesters defy heavy security presence, unite in Lagos, Osun, Ibadan against economic hardship and others. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper has this one and it says, June 12th, Nigeria needs new constitution. Who's speaking here? The likes of Anyoku, Nwachukwu and others. These are elder statesmen who were there at the beginning of the struggle of the Fourth Republic, and here we are. We're still struggling. Now, away from that, let's look at some sporting gist for you. And we want to begin with this one. NFF to hire foreign technical advisor. That's from the Sporting Sun newspaper. And we also saw the performance of the Super Eagles that people are now calling for the sack of the current Super Eagles coach, talking about Finidi George, who happens to be Nigeria's ex-international. Well, he had a poor outing with the South African match and the Benin Republic match. Tongues are already wagging that, hey, this man should go. And the NFF is already saying, we are also considering hiring a foreign coach. One particular story caught my attention from the stories that were reported from the sporting scene last week in Nigeria, and has to do with the man who was in the saddle, who was taking care of the Super Eagles before he was asked to go, talking about Gennett Raw. Gennett Raw, in an exclusive interview reported by the Punch Sports Extra, he says, and I quote him, "The only disappointment for me was missing the 2022 World Cup with Nigeria. If they miss another one for such a football country with the best players in Africa, it will be a little bit shameful." End of quote. That's what he said in that particular interview. The interview was titled, "My Bitter Sweet Eagles Memory." Don't forget, he took the Benin Republic to Cote d'Ivoire alongside Finidi George taking the Super Eagles to Benin Republic. And guess what? We were thrashed. You saw the way he was celebrated by the players, meaning that maybe we lost what we needed to value. I don't know. And that's about the size of this package. Kindly join me next week for a fresh episode of the program at Last Week in Nigeria. Don't forget to put your money where your mouth is. Place your advertisements products and services on this program, and we'll take you around the globe in one breath by just a click. And talking about the click, kindly subscribe to our YouTube channel, share, like, comment, and let's keep the conversation going. Also on all our social media handles using @LastWeekInNigeria. Our website is still www.lastweekinnigeria.com. On behalf of everyone here, my name is Emmanuel Oreo saying, Barka da Salah to all our Muslim faithful. Eid Mubarak. Catch ya.